Okay, so welcome back, guys. We're gonna do part 2 of this interview where we ask questions from fans. Have you tried listening to intellectual dance music or IDM music like Aphex Twin?
Yes, I can definitely say that Aphex Twin had a huge influence on me. I basically moved from doing kind of indie electronic depression, Nick Cave-ish thing, you know, in the year '92, and moved into the dance era. And so I was
because of him?
No. This was happening like kind of in '92, and so I went fully into all this electronic music that was happening at the time. And then the year '93 came, and that was one of the most flourishing years for me in music. It was when Ambient Works came out with Aphex Twin. He already had Polygon Window out. I'm not sure if it was also in '93, maybe it was in late '92, but those 2 albums infected me a lot. And then there were a couple of other artists that I was listening to at the time, for example like Black Dog. The Bites album was in constant rotation in my car. And yeah, that era, '93, '94, was really intellectual in a way where, you know, where these electronic artists were doing music that was not aimed for the dance floor. It was
brain food.
Yeah, it was really, you know, breaking up all kinds of. There were no rules to how you did the arrangement, and you were not doing it for the dance floor. You're not doing it for the, you know, for any pop chart. It was just examining possibilities, and it had a huge effect on me. And then, you know, most of these guys went into the drum and bass later, so I forgot about it. I was not that much into drum and bass, but basically '93 was and is still a huge part of me.
Yeah, there's something beautiful about this music math.
Yeah.
Biggi is a mathematician or a programmer, and has this mathematician mind, and I'm just fascinated by it. I don't have this quality myself, but I really like to be part of it with Biggi.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that maybe makes this collaboration a good thing?
You cannot rely entirely upon something intellectual.
No.
And Biggi is an emotional being as well, and he likes to put that into his music. So I think we're lucky with our mix.
Yeah. It's always has been, you know, I've of course been really fortunate to be able in this context to be able to work with such amazing vocalists and songwriters. Veira Daníel and Urður and Högni and Siggi and have been, so, you know, and
the emphasis cannot only be on this intellectual part.
No,
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You have to, you know, shake it up and come up with.
But it obviously works well together.
The best of both worlds, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it, of course, is one point that I can also state. You know, you could, you know, maybe people refer it as being intellectual, but, you know, I would not say that. Is that after you've been doing music for such a long time, and you also already tried all these standard chord movements that you hear in most pop songs, you at some point you cannot do that anymore. You know, there are, you know, you have, you know, for me, I have to try to do something different and
intellectualize it a bit.
Yeah, try to do something, try to find some different parts to it, and in the sound making, try to do something that is special and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think that is the good thing that comes with age, with musician. Either, you know, there's 2 approaches that musicians that have been on it for a long time can take. Either just keep doing the same, or continue exploring. Yeah. And you can see it in artists like David Bowie and stuff like that. He was always exploring.
Exactly.
And with electronic music, it's so vast, the thing that you can explore. So it's always a fascinating thing to start on a new songs and stuff like that and see, what speciality can we do now?
Yeah, exactly.
What can we cook up now?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do something. Of course, you know. I'm not sure how intellectual it is, but it's definitely the urge to try to do something different and
exactly.
and try to break up things a little bit.
What is your favorite remix of Selfos or Deep Inside? Or do you prefer some of the live versions, as it always looks like you're having great fun performing them?
Well, remixes in general give another angle to the song. And it's always a pleasure to have different versions of the same song. And when we perform our music live, they always take on different shapes and forms, and they kind of evolve. I'm not saying it's inspired by the remixes, but I think the remixes are, you know, something that we find interesting to have, but then we find more purpose and meaning in just evolving the work during our live performance.
Yeah, exactly. As you have been doing for years.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's really
trying to find a different aspect.
Yeah.
and it has been basically, like Daniel said, it's really has really put, you know, the joy in performing live is how we set up the live set and how we approach the live set is that each time we play a song, it's always a new version.
And that's of course very much fun for the fans.
Of course, and keeps us, you know, keeps our joy in performing live.
Yeah.
It is always something new and interesting that happens each time we play a song. So you know, so you could, you know, maybe, you know, Maya saying, you know, the remixes that we do live, those are the best.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
So that would be my answer.
What's up with Biggi Veira's the cross-dressing elements on this tour? Don't get me wrong, it's totally awesome. Just wondering if this is related to miscellaneous hobbies, fetishes, or
It's very related to me being a cross-dresser, I guess.
Yeah, but you always say.
I think it basically comes from there.
Very simple answer.
Yeah. I'm a cross-dresser, that's true.
Are you planning a remix contest soon? I'd like to remix you. I like this idea.
We already done it on. We already did a remix competition on the Airwaves track. I think it got me thinking a lot about it because I was seeing, you know, I have seen also people doing remixes just with the origin. Like I heard this remix of Selfos that he was just using, you know, the track as it was and did some extra beat on it. I think that you know, I have thought a little bit about it when we do the next album, just to throw the parts and people can just do whatever with it and throw it on YouTube or send it to us and whatever.
Yes.
Not like a contest, just like as a, you know, if you want, you can
Here are the parts.
And do whatever.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Play with these toys.
Yes, exactly. Okay, next question is basically to you, Daniel. Why did Mr. Daníel Ágúst join the Eurovision Song Contest? It was in '89, of course.
I was young. I was stupid.
Exactly.
I was not interested in the Eurovision Song Contest at all.
No.
I just wanted to work with the songwriter that wrote the song, and I learned a great deal from that collaboration, and I'm really, you know, thankful and grateful for that experience. And I'm also grateful for singing in front of 500 million people. I mean, it's an experience. You know? That's why I took part in this adventure or venture.
So basically, you don't regret it?
Of course not.
No. It's not like, to me, there's nothing to regret because this is my favorite Eurovision song.
Once in a while, I cry myself to sleep. No, I totally love having done this, and I wouldn't have wanted to skip this experience. It was a huge experience.
Yeah.
Geen erg toegankelijk lied, dit lied van IJsland.
It's kind of reminded that, you know, unification between different cultures can be made if people are just willing to do it.
Unite Europe was one of the songs.
Seriously,
wasn't it? Unite Europe.
It very well might have been.
It's about uniting Europe.
Yes, exactly. And it's a fun thing, at least. Could you make a 70s inspired album?
70s, yes. That's the next album.
Yeah. That's exactly what we're gonna do.
That's exactly what we're gonna do. It's gonna be the next album. It's gonna have a huge 70s influences.
Thank you for the idea. It's totally inspired by the 70s.
Well, at least I can maybe comment a little bit on that. It's you know, all these 70s arpeggios thing. You know, like the guys who were working with electronic music in the 70s, some of the stuff there that interests me a lot is all these arpeggio things that Samuel Sjar were doing, and Tangerine Dream, and stuff like that, and
there's some good stuff there.
Yeah, we have been working with arpeggios before, of course, like Within You is a track that is arpeggio songs, but you know, but I'm thinking a lot about the 70s, also about the new wave thing. Especially after we did the Sustain track on Mexico. That was one of my favorite tracks from Mexico, and you know, you know, 70s, I like it.
Definitely. So yes, sure. Yes, Michael.
Yeah, yes, Michael.
Next question. What do you think about Depeche Mode? Biggi, I know you are a big fan.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Depeche Mode in the 80s. Huge fan. I more or less, you know, left them in the mid-90s when I went 93 when they came out with Songs of Faith and Devotion. That was the album after Wilder. I kind of, you know, after Wilder.
After Wilder.
You know, it went too rock for me, and I was too much into the experimental thing. So I kind of left them there. But they were really important for me in the 80s. They were my favorite band in the 80s and had a deep impact on me musically.
As a musician.
And I think that, you know, they were in the 80s. They were really unique band. There was nobody doing anything like them at that time, basically. The way they approached music and the way they did their songs, it was very much emotional. They were really much not doing traditional chord structures, and the sounds they were using played a lot of part in the production, and how sounds kind of made tracks and stuff like that. How they worked with samples, they were kind of, for me, they were pioneers in how they use sampling. Also, they were really political in their lyrics, and doing lyrics a lot about also existential things, and you know, Black Celebration was one of my favorite albums. You know, I listened to it so much and cried over it all the time. So, yeah, I like Depeche Mode.
Yeah, we could say musically, Depeche Mode is our greatest inspiration.
Definitely one of the greatest. I mean, I would say that
this
also
combination of technology or electronic music and emotions and how it's put together is not far from what we do.
Exactly, yeah.
Our music is, of course, inspired from what is happening, you know, some of the new stuff that is happening. It also has a really deeply rooted in the early 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s. It's just electronic music in general that inspires our music making.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question is also the final question for us tonight.
Okay.
It's pretty basic. What is the future of electronic music?
It's a really difficult question.
It is. It's huge. It's
What
a
a
huge
question! What a question! Biggi, you might be able to answer this, but maybe not.
I sincerely hope that there is a way to break up a little bit about how closely formatted I feel that music has come to nowadays.
What do you mean?
Well, you just have to believe me.
Just gonna have to take my word for it.
I'm just thinking that you know, I'm thinking a little bit about the very early '80s and how everything was very much open then, and there were so many bands doing different kinds of things, and they were getting success in getting to radio with all kinds of weird stuff. You know, you could see Deepest Mode starting off doing their thing, and they were 18 years old and had a hit in Radio 1, and they were doing something new and original. And we have gone through, you know, I can't see a lot of really groundbreaking evolutions from the last decade. You can, though, you know, that's not totally true. There is, of course, some things from approaching, you know, breaks and patterns and stuff like that is really interesting. But it has so much been in a certain fixed way. I'm really much hoping for electronic music to kind of reconsider all the ideas that have been thrown into the mix throughout the decades.
Yeah.
Because there are so many of those that still have not been fully explored.
Yeah.
I would point that, for example, all the experimental beats and the stuff that was happening in the very early 90s, like in 93, 94, you know, there are emotions and soundscapes and beats and stuff like that that I haven't seen surfaced into popular music. But it could, just
exactly.
as all kinds of weird stuff approached the top of the charts in the very early 80s. So I would want to see electronic music not being so influenced by the current date and trying to break a little bit loose from, you know, from the current date and do something fucked up and that is more a little bit timeless.
Exactly. But so
because I'm seeing the EDM scene, and there are of course a couple of cool tracks that are in the scene, but it's so formatted.
Yeah. So you feel like
I really hope that electronic music would somehow break out of the constraining formats that are today. The formats that are used on the clubs, the formats that are used for the radios. As I see it, they're pretty much closed.
Yeah.
I really don't worry about the future of electronic music because it's, in the core, it's very flexible, and we were talking about the possibilities that they are endless. So there's nothing to worry about. Me personally, I would like to produce an album without hi-hats.
I'm not a fan of hi-hats.
That would be that would be maybe it's going to be in my private studio revolution.
Exactly.
and not be audible to the world, but I mean that, you know, there are endless things you can come up with and decide to do and how you want to do it, and you just have to musicians just have to approach electronic music in a fresh way. So
there is a band that once did an album that there was a decision not to use any hi-hats.
Okay.
Do you know what
Which
album
one
that
is
is? It's the first album by Deepest Mode.
Really?
They didn't want to use any hi-hats because it was too much disco. So there are no hi-hats on the first Deepest Mode album, and they did one track that they were stating, "This is no disco." That's the title of the track. This is no disco.
I haven't heard this album.
No, but there are no hi-hats on it. But they're using like synths to do all the fast stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you can be maybe inspired by Deepest Mode on that.
Yeah.
I'm a light fan of this.
Yes. Yeah. But check out.
He's the heavy fan.
Yeah, but you should definitely then check out the first album by Deep and Smooth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To find the future of electronic music.
Exactly. That's the key. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being
So what?
here.
The future of electronic music is no hi-hats?
In the past.
No hi-hats.
That's the future, no hi-hats. Quite simple. Well, that's all the time we have for now. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. You were, of course, GusGus, and I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Boys!